Live at 9.
There's something associated with new things, a new debt, a new girlfriend, new boyfriend, new job, new car.
It has been a new week of new things.
Absolutely. The question is Parliament gripped by that new thing vibe and fever, or is there anything new
about what's happening
about this Parliament? And will they sustain this vibe?
Over 500 of them were in Parliament, some of them leaning on the wall, some of them at the guest gallery, and Oboth seems to be a bit of a favorite with some humor over there. So,
oh, he definitely does love his banter. Let's get into the headlines. It is a very good start for the 12th Parliament.
The leadership of Parliament should be above petty fights with members, because the Speaker is the Speaker of the whole House.
But will members maintain the same momentum?
To me, I will maintain the status quo. I will be coming.
Offloading a number of boxes.
Shock as a Mackay University student is arrested with stolen government medical supplies.
Where are these coming from? Where are they going?
Examination centers display the registers.
UNEP kicks off the registration exercise for candidates across the country.
It's an extremely important exercise.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Samson Kasumba and Victoria Sibia.
Let's talk about new things. We'll talk about the 12th Parliament that has made history as the first Parliament to have more than 500 members of Parliament at the start of its term. It is legislators, some of them saying that this number could remain constant depending on the conduct and decorum of the Speaker, who does have some fire.
According to the history of the 10th and 11th Parliaments, absenteeism among MPs during parliamentary sittings became a major concern, with Ugandans repeatedly questioning wastage of taxpayers' money. The members of Parliament we spoke to said the attendance numbers in Parliament could either increase or reduce depending on how the presiding officers manage parliamentary sittings.
Many times, even petty fights with members. Then when a member has a personal issue with the Speaker, they think that I will not be given a floor. You know, we have had senior members of this House who have not been attending. I can mention of General Otafire, Honorable Kadaga.
So a member of Parliament, I think it's one to represent former MOP, Nansana municipality. I saw a Speaker hashing him, sit down, idiot, sit down.
However, legislators also revealed that despite winning the 2026 general elections, some of their former opponents have already started putting them under pressure and uncertainty in their constituencies.
Usually new members, if you don't know how to balance parliament work and constituents, you will end up going to the field. You will end up going to the village and stay there, yet you are not voted to be in the village.
Some members of Parliament who served in the 10th and 11th Parliaments pointed to heavy workload in various parliamentary committees and many responsibilities assigned to legislators in ministerial positions.
Dual roles of the members. Members have committees, some are attending committee field work, some have traveled abroad for oversight. We have ministers who also have executive roles.
Business starts. You will have plenary, but members are in a certain committee. Maybe they have gone to the field to do monitoring.
Other concerns raised include election-related court cases, which consume a lot of their representation time in plenary sessions.
Members that have election petitions, and you find, even as you as a member of Parliament, when you have a case, you can't attend. So it's a fair game where you find that most members are not attending.
After talking about Parliament, let's talk about its Speaker, Jacob Maxence Oboth, who is the Speaker of the 12th Parliament, urging members to uphold honesty, discipline and good conduct as they serve the Ugandans who entrusted them with national representations. Oboth did caution members of Parliament against misconduct and poor behavior that marred the 11th Parliament, which faced repeated scrutiny over misappropriation of government resources. He pledged full support and priority for parliamentary committees as they execute oversight over government institutions and other duties. Speaking at the closure of the orientation of members of parliament, the training program, both said the session equipped members to execute their constitutional duties, including overseeing government institutions and performing other parliamentary functions.
Honourable members, a number of issues were emphasized and discussed during our roles and responsibilities. Emphasis was also placed on the nexus between the plenary and parliamentary committees. As we are all aware, parliamentary committees are the engine of parliamentary business, where members process business in depth for the consumption and ratification of the House. The real engine of this parliament is our committees. And I commit that we shall have functional committees of parliament. During the forthcoming induction, we will delve into the nitty-gritty of the workings of parliament, and I urge you all to be present and attentive. We will ensure you benefit from the knowledge and expertise of valuable resource persons. Under my leadership, we will prioritize evidence-based legislation through harnessing diverse human resources and technical expertise in the parliamentary service in furtherance of the rule of law.
Was to ensure that we comply and observe the regulations, the rules of procedure, observe conduct, the code of conduct, and then respect ourselves, not only outside, but also in the House.
Ours is going to be the standard of English for the 12th Parliament, but we'll be talking about the Chief Whip. But for now, let me let you in on the fact that we're going to be speaking to a governance expert and as well political pundit, Mr. Timothy Chimonges. That's coming up. Let's get to the Chief Whip. Medical doctor is her background, and now as Parliament begins this new term, attention is now being focused. We're zeroing in on the government Chief Whip and how efficiently and effectively she will coordinate government business, especially considering that the previous parliament, many MPs and ministers from the ruling National Resistance Movement it was, who were often absent from parliamentary proceedings. However, political analysts say that Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng has the experience needed to mobilize, coordinate government members efficiently. Didn't she manage disease?
One of the key offices that links Parliament and government business is that of the government Chief Whip. In the Parliament of Uganda, all political parties have whips, but the government Chief Whip attracts the most attention. Captain Francis Babu, former Member of Parliament, political analyst Leonard Egesa explained the role of the Chief Whip.
To maintain members' discipline on the floor of Parliament, to ensure that they mobilize.
So the word whip actually is a colloquial which came out of English, somebody who whips people in line.
Besides mobilizing party members to support party positions, the Chief Whip is also responsible for guiding and preparing MPs for parliamentary debates.
When we were doing first RCs, you remember the resistant councils? You must have been very young. Yeah, people spoke for 5 minutes and they were elected. Others could not speak in 5 minutes. Now, I've heard in members of parliament complaining, oh, when I was speaking, the microphone came off. Yes, because the microphones in parliaments are timed.
You have to ensure that there is discipline. You don't come to the floor of Parliament with a party that is singing from different scripts or singing from different hymn books.
Now that the 12th Parliament has started its work and the cabinet has been appointed, attention is on how Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng will manage this office. Analysts say that in the previous parliament, many government MPs and ministers were frequently absent, a challenge that now needs to be addressed.
Even if the minister is not there, they have more than one minister of state. A minister of state can attend. So you can have one of them attend all the time. So all the ministry can be represented as far as I'm concerned.
A person like Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, who has been former health minister, I have had the privilege of being in the same space with her. I have seen that she possesses the skill set that is required to influence people to follow her.
Egesa says the government needed someone like Acheng who can effectively mobilize members, adding that her appointment as government chief whip clearly shows that the next 5 years will require hard work and active coordination.
For example, if you look at the person who has been nominated to occupy the office of the Attorney General, it could be an indicator that we are likely to have, abrasive pieces of legislation or unpopular pieces of legislation processed by the 12th Parliament.
If every political party has a whip, what happens to a party that has only one member of parliament?
Talking about singing from hymn sheets, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Well, that's not where we are going to go. Let's go the direction of speaking to Mr. Timothy Chamongas to weigh in on this. Timothy, Parliament begins with the overriding problem of lack of space, as has been evidenced when almost everybody turned up. They've been constructing that place like forever, since the days of the Honorable Rebecca Itwara Kadaga. How can they solve this problem?
I think that the Speaker seems to have started on a right note, identifying the question of corruption, because for the new building of Parliament, resources have been allocated, and annually, including recently. It makes no sense, or it fails to understand how all these resources have been injected on this building, and nothing seems to be going on. I think it's around the question of accountability. Most of the resources have been definitely used for maybe personal, or have gone into unknown expenditures. And I think for me, the promise and looking at how the 11th Parliament and the leadership are started, I think it's on the right note, identifying the pain points to ensure that those are addressed. And for the building more specifically, that is very important, because we see members of Parliament standing, we see many of them failing to find where to sit. You see others even sitting on the other side of, on the different sides of where they should be sitting. And so I think that they're in the right direction, address the question of corruption, allocate resources, and there's need for prompt action to ensure that the building is completed. Otherwise, this will definitely create a ripple effect where members of Parliament do not find where to sit, and in the attempt to find space to speak, they are demoralized. They don't find any, and so you see slowly members of Parliament losing interest in being part of these sittings, and then it affects how deliberations in the House go on.
We're about 45 million, and we can't all speak, so we elect people to speak for us. But if those speaking for us are over 500, it means there are probably as many as the ones for whom they speak. So how can everybody be heard? In a class, the monitor speaks on behalf of the class. In my arsenal, Martin Odegaard is the captain who speaks for other players. Yeah. So will everybody ever be heard, or how can that be managed?
I mean, it's a challenge that I think as a country we brought it to ourselves, and we have to deal with it. Being able to speak is one thing, but also their usefulness really in those spaces is something that we still question. The hope and our call has always been to reduce this number of members of Parliament. I think we need way half of this specific number that we have. More importantly, as the leadership takes in the mandate, I think there is need to ensure that the committees, because much of the work actually happens in committees, ensure that committees are well resourced, committees are well organized, and the leadership of these committees are well organized, so that members have opportunity to do much of the work from the committee. Plenary is largely an icing in the cake. Okay. If committees have done an excellent work, if committees have done a good job, plenary really is an icing in the cake. Okay.
The last time the opposition tried the direction of kuzoganya, whatever that meant, and I'm not so sure how effective they are. How can the opposition become relevant, not for itself, but for Ugandans in this parliament? Do they have a chance?
I think they have a chance. The opposition have a chance to ensure that they set their legislative agenda very clear, identify where their strengths are, identify how they can be able to identify their allies, but also more importantly, I think that many of them are interested in the legislative agenda of the country. So they're able to, once they're able to identify their areas of interest, identify the challenges in here and there, but also more importantly, the leader of opposition must steer clear its members so that it's a one force, and they're able to leverage on that. But I think that as they move forward, we are happy. Actually, personally, I'm very happy that the promise to wallop the opposition has been mitigated, and that they have a bit now of a lifeline to ensure that they participate meaningfully, engage the leadership of Parliament, and ultimately the interest is in ensuring they serve the Ugandans.
Mr. Timothy Chengmonges, thank you so much for speaking to us. If you're a member of Parliament, the jury is out there for you. Now, chaos can be very good when it is organized. The question is DP chaos organized chaos? Now, veteran politicians and members of Uganda's oldest political party, the Democratic Party, fear that growing leadership gaps within the party could permanently derail the party and its political future, if there is one. The disgruntled members accuse the party leadership under President General Norbert Mao of losing public trust, arguing that Ugandans will eventually retire the current leaders politically. However, they insist that the spirit of the Democratic Party never dies.
A visit to the Democratic Party headquarters in Rubaga, a Kampala suburb, presents a picture of silence behind the party's famous green colors. The usual political party activities such as trainings, workshops, and recruitment drive that once defined the opposition party are no longer visible. Instead, the party's President General Norbert Mao has recently been seen working closely with the members of the ruling National Resistance Movement, including his failed bid to become the Speaker of the 12th Parliament. This has left many Ugandans questioning whether the Democratic Party is collapsing. But veteran politicians and long-serving members insist the party remains alive, although they argue that some of its current leaders have lost direction, claims the DP leadership strongly dismisses.
So don't take people for granted. Whichever party you think is dead, they are just cooling down like a silent volcanic activity. But given space and time, the thermodynamics, it will pick up.
The Democratic Party leadership, however, maintains that all major decisions within the party are made through consultations and lawful party structures.
There is democracy in the Democratic Party because there is no other party where we have seen a vice president of the party, a national vice president of the party, declaring his or her intention to contest against a sitting president of the party.
Following the signing of the cooperation agreement between the DP and the ruling National Resistance Movement, several party executives and members reportedly abandoned the party and joined other political parties. Despite this, veteran leaders are urging supporters to remain patient and loyal to the party.
Don't lose hope, the members of the Democratic Party. The time is coming when the curtains will fall and the stage will be open for all, and then the members will come and enjoy.
Political analysts say the leadership crisis facing the Democratic Party reflects a broader pattern across many African political parties where institutions are often overshadowed by dominant individuals. They warn that such trend could weaken democratic growth in Uganda.
So you have this big man, Norbert Mao, very audible, very eloquent. He has been in the opposition politics for a while. And consequently, that has an effect on the internal party democracy of the Democratic Party.
We will take time to think about our opinion poll question. Let's get to it to remind you of it. There it is. What measures can authorities put in place to ensure responsible handling and safeguarding of government drugs? That's a question we're coming back to, especially so when you have a university student caught with government drugs. The State House unit in charge of monitoring of health, working with the Criminal Investigations Directorate, intercepted a cache of suspected stolen government medical supplies in Makere, Chikoni, Kampala. The operation raises fresh concerns over the illegal handling of essential health commodities. A four-year Makere University student on government sponsorship pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering was arrested during the raid.
Officials say the items were recovered from a hostel room in Makere, Chikoni during an intelligence-led operation. Among the seized items were HIV-determined test kits, laboratory reagents, antiretroviral drugs, vacuitainers, and expired face masks.
Working on a tip-off by the community, somebody has been offloading a number of boxes that contained drugs.
Preliminary investigations, according to the Director, Health Monitoring Unit of State House, Dr. Warren Namara, indicates that some of the supplies had expired and were allegedly being relabeled for redistribution.
Assorted expired equipment, expired drugs. The question is, where do they get expired drugs and expired equipment? Labels. Labels printed in NASA, the University of NASA. You all know about this university. So, our hunch is that there is a lot of relabeling. You get expired drugs, you relabel them, you put them back in the market.
Dr. Namara further emphasized that the Health Monitoring Unit, together with the law enforcement agencies, is intensifying checks across the supply chain to prevent similar incidents.
It's very unfortunate because we are told that these drugs find their way across borders. We are also told that these drugs are used in pigs for fattening rather than patients. We are also told that they are used as psychedelic drugs. They are smoked. All these are really dangerous, whichever way you want to look at it.
Investigators are now working to establish how the supplies were obtained and whether more individuals were involved in the operation.
Where are these coming from? Who gives them? Who supplies them? Where are they going? Who is responsible for all this? And we have actually caught a number of them.
The recovered supplies have been taken into police custody for further examination as authorities continue to investigate the matter and trace the intended distribution of the items. Dr. Warren Namara is now calling for the creation of an independent court to handle medical malpractice cases.
It's a bit frustrating, and that's why we should have a dedicated court to try those crimes. And I have advocated for dedicated courts. Many of them get bail, and they prolong bail. The evidence sometimes suffers, people die, the witnesses die.
Feedback brought to you by.
They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
Let's get back to the feedback, shall we? And it is what measures can authorities put in place to ensure responsible handling and safeguarding of government medical supplies now that university students are being caught with those. Let's see. Griffiths says authorities must implement strict end-to-end supply chain controls. These include physical security, strict stock management policies, and robust digital tracking to eliminate diversion, stockouts, and wastage. Blessed weekend. Weren't we told that this was the case all those donkey years ago? But anyways, it is Riyadh saying authorities can safeguard government drugs through strict accountability, regular audits, digital tracking systems, and proper supervision of health facilities, and tough penalties against theft and corruption. And these vehicles supposed to be planted with trackers, like the delivery trucks. Then Mugume says, not the cannery. Label all drugs, be it tablets with labels. Those got with stolen medicine should be jailed for life. Just imagine health centers in rural areas lacking medicine to treat simple diseases like malaria, headache. Arrest them and blacklist them from government jobs. They've been arrested. Actually, most of that stuff was even marked. Can you imagine? More to come.
More to come. Brought to you by
Blended pure vegetable cooking oil, second best to a mother's love.
President Yoweri Museveni is the fountain of honor, and he's saying you citizens of the Republic should be more patient with court processes. Where he was speaking and what was the function is the matter we are going to come back to when we come from this particular break. The big question is, how do you offload boxers into a room and you think it won't be safe? You see, you get used to offloading females into rooms, and then you think big things can get lost in rooms.
In a world that's always changing, the foundations of trust must stay strong. For over 60 years, we've built the minds that build trust, shaping the professionals who carry confidence into boardrooms, communities, and lives. Because trust doesn't happen by chance, it's built, tested, and taught. As the world moves forward, so do we, blending data, innovation, and human insight to prepare the next generation of industry leaders.
Insurance Training College in Uganda, enhancing professionalism.
Sorry, the number you have called is currently switched off. Please try again later.
The command is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500K to process my NSSF money. How dare you!
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
Weekend yetu sina yeto inagafumba. You got Glovo. Oinacheweta gamukatale tofayo. You got Glovo. If you're having a celebration, you got Glovo. You can order what you want. You can get what you need. You got Glovo. You got it all. You got Glovo. Download the app. Order with Glovo. Track it minute by minute until you receive it in minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Please fasten your seatbelts. We're in for a thrilling ride. Flight time will be non-stop until the buzzer, and we'll be cruising above the rim. Temperature on the court will be hot with unexpected cold moves. Cabin crew, we're cleared for season 6 tip-off. It's takeoff time. BAL, rise with the game.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
There's a new way to keep your breath fresh all day.
Introducing Movit All Day Toothpaste, meant to give you powerful night gum defense and teeth whitening. The charcoal flavor gives you deep cleansing and power stain removal. And the herbal delivers natural strength for healthy, confident smiles. Choose Movit All Day Toothpaste and enjoy freshness all day.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into NBS Live at 9. And now let's have a talk about education. Government has directed universities and higher education institutions to move beyond classroom teaching and take a frontline role in agricultural transformation, green skills, development and community-based innovation as Uganda shifts toward competence-based education and training. Officials from the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries and universities, or rather have said universities must align training with market demands, climate realities and the country's agro-industrialization agenda.
Speaking at the closure of an international conference on green growth and higher education reforms, Willie Ofono Osinde, Commissioner for Agriculture, said universities must reposition themselves as innovation centers capable of solving real community and production challenges.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries fully appreciates that agriculture can no longer be approached merely as a subsistence activity or academic discipline confined to the lecture rooms and offices.
The ministry identified climate change, technological advancement, demographic shifts, and food system challenges as factors forcing a transition towards green and knowledge-based economies. The Director for Quality Assurance and Accreditation at the National Council for Higher Education, Dr. Vincent Sembatia, said agriculture remains one of Uganda's most important sectors, contributing nearly 26% of the country's gross domestic product and employing more than 70% of the population.
Our education outputs, the students who come for the learners, must leave the institutions with capacity to connect with the communities and also to support the government in its efforts of economic growth, transformation. So whereas a lot of training is traditionally theoretical, like you spend a lot of the time in a very large, very beautiful classrooms, maybe even air-conditioned rooms and all that, whereas in reality, agriculture happens in the farms.
Pius Coxwell Achanga, the Vice-Chancellor of Mountains of the Moon University, urged universities to become more innovative in sourcing research financing by developing competitive proposals and strengthening partnerships with industry and the private sector.
Work together in the review of curriculum based on the guidelines National Council has sent to change our curriculum to competency-based. Number two, is that to realize the competency-based education and training, there are certain enablers. And it cannot only be in agriculture. To stimulate the green growth economy, you need certain things. There must be peace and stability in the country.
Well, let's throw in some perspective into that one. Now, we are joined by Dr. Richard Ouma, who's a Senior Higher Education Officer, National Council for Higher Education. Now, Dr. Ouma, I don't want to assume that everybody knows what we are talking about when we say competency-based education and training. For some of us who finished school a long time ago, what exactly are we talking about when we say competency-based education and training?
Thank you very much. When we are looking at the concept of competence-based education and training, we are looking at an approach that transforms education to ensure that what is taught in higher education institutions resonates with what we have or what is needed in the community. There has always been that element that institutions produce people who are not relevant to the community. The labor market complains of the skills. So competence-based education and training focus is to ensure that the learners that are produced are really relevant to what the labor market needs and what society needs.
Well, government is pushing for this competency-based education right now, but I'd like to know why now? Why not a few years ago? Is this the right time? Are we in a desperate space? Is that why we are seeking to introduce this at all levels, including tertiary?
Yes, that's very important. Why now and not yesterday or tomorrow? This is a very important aspect that all of us have to embrace. Efforts have been done at lower levels. I think you know that at primary and secondary levels to tailor our programs or curricula to competence-based. Now that we have got graduates coming from A level, joining universities, then we must also ensure that what is provided in the universities match with what is taught at lower levels. So this is the appropriate time that we must all go. And the other thing is that, of course, the directive was made by the minister that by the beginning of next year, which is 2027, no institution will be allowed to recruit or to select students, enroll when they have not tailored their programs, which are commonly called courses, to competence-based. So this is the right time to go.
Well, we have about 6 months to go until 2027. Are institutions actually prepared for this?
Yes. National Council has made initiatives and taken it seriously to ensure that all institutions are prepared. Immediately when we got a directive from the minister last year, National Council planned to develop minimum standards. Now, for us, what we do in order to guide the institutions, we must provide them guidelines. So after developing the minimum standards, we realize this is a new area. Institutions must have something to guide them to operationalize these standards. So National Council developed what we call the templates for development of programs. Now, after developing the template, we said, but now what's the way to go? We said we must prepare institutions. So we went further to prepare trainings. We have had about 5 trainings so far. We had 2 in the central region, 1 in the west, 1 in the north, and 1 in the east. And we're also planning still to have more. So all these were done in order to prepare institutions. So we feel we are on the way and institutions have started responding.
Well, I guess at this point it's about observation and seeing how it will work. I'd say good luck for 2027 in that case. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Richard Ouma, and for all your insights. Now, let's move on from that. 5 out of 6 appointments in Acholi sub-region were old faces, but members of the public in the sub-region are questioning whether there is going to be a difference in service delivery compared to the previous administration.
5 out of the 6 ministerial appointments from Acholi sub-region were recycled from the previous lot, as the president maintains Norbert Mao, Lilian Abe, Hilary Onek, Beatrice Anywa, Beatrice Akorini's latest cabinet. From the 6 appointments, only Norbert Mao is from West Acholi, with all the appointments from East Acholi districts of Kitgum, Lamour and Agago. The question is, what does this appointment bring on the table for the region?
There's nothing surprising, because even these ministers who have been in office all this time, I've not seen any impact they've had on the Acholi people directly.
Where we have Omoro, we have Gulu district, we have Gulu city, we have Noya, and then we have Amoro. We have only 1 minister, and that's Honorable Norbert Mao. Omoro here gave 93%.
This one is about loyalty and also sustainability of the national resistance movement presence in the region.
On the performance of the ministers, a lot more is still desired, as they demand ministers to show leadership and stay close to the electorate for impact.
There's still a lot that lacks, especially in the local people in northern Uganda, especially in Acholi. There should be deliberate effort, an intentional effort by these ministers that have been elected to change their lives. It may not be a direct change of the lives of the people, but there should be a political will.
Ministers now need to be closer to the population
Those we spoke to says apart from the appointments, which majorly remains on paper, the ministers should now get actively involved in the implementation of the Acholi agenda.
And also we need to sit down with these ministers and our MPs and talk about Acholi development agenda.
So let them stay there. We just, the best we can hear is their sirens, those who have sirens, driving all their VIP cars, and that's it. Many of them are not having impact at all on the Acholi people.
Do these persons really have the greater northern Uganda at heart?
Now, let's get back into some education one more time. Now, the Uganda National Examination Board has cautioned schools ahead of, rather against charging unauthorized fees during the registration of candidates for the 2026 national examinations. The warning comes as UNEB officially kicked off the registration exercise for candidates across the country. The board has also warned against the misappropriation of examination registration fees collected from parents and students. According to the executive director at UNEB, schools and examination centers are expected to complete the registration process by the end of June 2026. The board noted that any delays beyond the deadline will attract a surcharge of 50,000 shillings per candidate.
With the nearby police, because this is a criminal act. Do not expect UNEB to police and go to every school to find out how much they have charged. It is the responsibility of anyone who has been aggrieved to seek redress. And the law, according to the UNEB Act, will protect such people. We also want to warn about misappropriation of registration fees. Quite often, we find out towards the examination that students from a particular school were not registered, although they had paid fees. And the director or the head teacher who collected the fees has disappeared. And so such students have missed examinations in the past. So we want to caution heads of centers or their representatives to make sure that all UNEB registration fees are remitted and that students are duly registered for the examination.
Well, let's have a look at our numbers that matter. We particularly look at the distribution of learners in secondary school by class. Yesterday I was able to show you the primary school. Now let's have a look at the secondary school. Now in senior one you have 508,769 students over there in senior one. But when you get to senior two, the numbers drop to 424,748, which means just about 80,000, just about above 80,000 of dropouts between senior one and senior two. And then when you go further to senior three, 421,820 students, which means about 3,000 dropped from that number in senior two. When you go further down to senior four, you see 352,929 students. A big number of students, they're either repeating or dropping out throughout there in those years. When you reach senior five, only 170,271 students are over there, while senior six, 129,596. I don't know about you, but I think we might have a bit of a problem with those particular numbers. Those are distribution of learners by class. Well, that takes us straight into our break. We'll be right back.
Masaka Ju. Omunstumuleta soka Christopher Katama. Owulira otya kati nti owangudde.
ndi musanyufu nnyo. Tewali muzadde ayinza obutasanyuka nga bamusasulidde omwaka mulamba, so nebaza nnyo MTN okulaba nti mpangudde. Era nkubiriza abazadde mwena abali eyo, nyiga *165 *880# naawe oyinza okubeera omu mu baki mu bawanguzi.
And for those of you who pay school fees at those schools that don't use Momo, hey, mubatabukire mubagambe leta Momo wano, because you stand a chance to win a van for the school. This is the power of Momo.
Hey, travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelecom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
Carrying cash can be stressful. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card makes paying smart and simple. Load and spend confidently in 9 currencies: Ugandan shilling, Kenyan shilling, Tanzanian shilling, Rwandan franc, Indian rupees, United States dollar, British pound, euro, and South African rand. Enjoy safe, simple payments wherever you go. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card is open to everyone, whether you have an I&M Bank account or not. Get yours today and pay confidently worldwide in 9 currencies.
I&M Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million shillings. Terms and conditions apply.
I&M Bank, on your side.
Cooking all that makes food sweet. Tastes so good like mama's keys. Sweet time aside. Yeah. Stir God, it's the oil you need for a tasty meal to live a healthy life. Stir God, refined, fortified, blended pure vegetable cooking oil, second best to a mother's love.
Your uncle wants you to get a loan. He says you should buy a Beamer to stop embarrassing him in front of his friends with your malnourished car. That you should buy one of those expensive shirts they call Versace, so that people stop spreading rumors that his family has no style. That you need an iPhone because he's tired of biting his tongue whenever he tries to pronounce that funny thing you're holding. Good thing you've got ABSA. Our loans are not designed for others to change what they say about you. They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Dinga like a daily bando,
like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima. Kankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata. Elendongo ya kusabula. We gonna do free of fire, free of fire, free of fire. Today and spread those smiles, please. Surrender today and show your smile, please. The world smiles back at you, so come on, smile, please. Spread the smile.
I enjoy to look after myself by coming to Don's Organic Spa for massage, pedicure and manicure, facials, salon, like they have it all here. Sometimes I come with my girlfriends twice a week and I feel so refreshed, renewed. Like I'm just so happy that this place is full of life. It's full of life. That's all I can say.
Welcome back. Let's move to the Court of Justice. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has appealed to Ugandans to be patient with court processes, noting that evidence collection and prosecution can take many years before justice is served. In a message delivered by Chief Justice Flavian Nzeja at the Joan Kagezi Memorial Lecture, the president made the remarks in reference to the murder case of former prosecutor Joan Kagezi, which secured its first conviction last year, nearly a decade after her gruesome killing.
At the 8th Joan Kagezi Memorial Lecture, Chief Justice Flavian Nzeja delivered President Museveni's message calling for greater patience with judicial processes, emphasizing that prosecution is not as easy as roasting maize.
You do not wake up and manufacture evidence. You need facts. You need intelligence. You need patience, and eventually the truth comes out.
The president also recommended the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for consistently organizing the memorial lecture and urged prosecutors to stay prepared to handle emerging crimes such as cybercrime and terrorism financing.
For the future prosecutor must not only understand laws and courtrooms, the future prosecutor must understand cyber investigations, terrorism financing, financial systems, digital commerce, environmental protection, organized crime structures, and international criminal cooperation.
Principal Judge Jane Francis Abodo used the occasion to advocate for improved welfare for retired prosecutors, noting that although the welfare of serving officers has improved, many retired prosecutors continue to live in hardships.
Recognize and support retired prosecutors. As we strengthen the prosecution service for the future, we must also honor those who helped to build it.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Lino Anguzu, updated attendees on the progress of the prosecution of suspects linked to Joan Kagezi's murder, revealing that one suspect has already been convicted while 5 others are still on trial.
Of the remaining 3 persons who are accused in that same matter is progressing steadily before the International Crimes Division of the High Court, and we expect a ruling on a case to answer on the 3rd of July this year. We remain hopeful for a favorable verdict.
Kagezi's children, who attended the memorial lecture, praised their late mother's courage and dedication to justice, calling for similar bravery and integrity within today's justice system and beyond.
Joan chose to stand where many would have retreated when she was called to confront darkness, to defend truth, to stand between fear and justice. And she declared with her life and with her work that the people of this country deserve better.
Now let's journey to the boardroom. The 3rd cohort of Journey to the Boardroom has officially come to a close, celebrating growth transformation, that is, and the emergence of future-ready leaders prepared to take on boardroom responsibilities. The Leadership Initiative, founded by Janet Navuga Bugembe, has continued to shape and empower young professionals and aspiring executives with skills, confidence, and strategic mindset needed to thrive in leadership spaces and corporate governance. Bugembe emphasizes that the program goes beyond mentorship by intentionally preparing participants for real-world leadership and boardroom engagement.
So in 2020, during the COVID lockdown, I started a series, and these were webinars where I invited people who were very good in the corporate governance space in this country, to support this journey. So I invited many people out there who were interested in starting on their journey to the boardroom or were on their way, already serving on boards and making contributions to learn. We were using the mentorship approach so that they can be able to learn how they can become better board members. So in 2021, I got an opportunity through the Shevning Scholarship to go and pursue a master's in corporate governance. So this was the cement to this all. That is how I came back after that program and started Journey to the Boardroom.
Well, it's time for a social spotlight. Let's see what our top leaders are saying. Let's start it off there with Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng Ochero, who's going to be our chief whip. Now, I am humbled by His Excellency Kaguta Museveni's trust in redeploying me as government chief whip for 2026 to 2031. I commit to no sleep, disciplined service, and unity in the House. Keyword, no sleep. Now let's have a look at there if we have some more. Looking at Adonia Ayebare, who says, yesterday I signed an agreement establishing diplomatic relations